Good morning. It's Tuesday, July 31st, the 12th day of Av. And Benny just asked the question, why, want to ask it again?
Yeah, why in Ashkenaz Menya, Ashkenaz Shul, the Chazan, even though he put the tefillin already, he starts saying the brachot.
Why don't you say the brachas before you put on the tefillin?
Right. You're supposed to say the Birkat Torah before you put the Birkat Tefillin.
Okay. It's a good question. In fact, the truth is that all the brachas that we say in the morning, we really should say it as soon as we get up.
Exactly. We read that, we studied that already.
And when you get up, you should say Zokef Kefufim. When you get dressed, you should say Mal B'Sharumim. When you open your eyes, you should say Pekah Chivrim.
Right.
All the things that we're thanking Hashem, we should really say it as soon as we use that particular part of our body.
The act.
So the answer is that we want to make sure that we're prepared and ready to talk to God. And so therefore, if you're just getting up, chances are that during the night you touched places where you're not clean and your body is not clean. Maybe you have to go to the bathroom. So we really put our bodies in the best possible shape.
That's okay, but I'm saying, let's say you're in the shul now.
Yes.
Before you're putting the tefillin,
Okay.
you're supposed to say these brachot.
Right. So I don't know. The answer is that once we're in shul already, you'll notice certain people, once they're in shul, they don't even put on their talis and tefillin in the shul. They go into another room, or they go in the hallway and they put on the talis and tefillin. And so that you walk into shul, you should walk in already prepared. So I don't know the different minhagim between the Ashkenazim and Sfardim say it before they put on the tefillin. I know Chabad also says it that way.
100%,
Yeah.
We say all the brachot. Even before I learned with you, I said all the brachot.
Right. Okay. That's why in the morning when I ask you to say brachas, you said it already.
I said it already.
Okay.
And if I go be a chazan what I say, it's going to be a baracha levatala. Because I already said the brachot for myself.
Correct.
Unless I want to get the acherim, the other people.
So maybe one of the reasons we do it that way, I'm just guessing,
Oh, that's
is that that's to be able to if you said it already yourself, then maybe you can't say it again, and you want to be yotzei other people in the shul because you're the shliach tzibur, you're the chazan. So it's better that you didn't say it yet, so that at the same time that you're saying it for yourself, you can be yotzei other people.
At saying the brachot, it's very machmir. It's very harsh thing. Bircha levatala is a very harsh. Even let's say we go duchan, right? We go the Birkat Kohanim. In the shul I went to Tisha B'Av Sunday afternoon. It was after the shiur. We said the bracha.
Right.
The rabbi said, no, don't make bracha. Just say it.
Yeah. It's very to make a bracha for nothing is a big thing. That's why if you're not sure if you made a bracha, don't say it.
That's
it's safuk bracha lahakel.
And even one of the
Like that,
10 commandments. One of the 10 commandments. Don't bring my name
in vain.
So this is a very chamur.
And if we spoke about this also, if you accidentally started a bracha, and you said out Hashem's name,
you have to say
Lamdeini chukecha. It's a pasuk in Tehillim, and you can finish off with that.
Yeah.
Okay. So we were talking over here past couple of days about who is worthy to be the shliach tzibur. And I'm not sure if you were here at the time, but the Shulchan Aruch gives so many qualifications for a person to be a shliach tzibur that maybe with the exception of you, Benny, I don't think anybody here is really allowed to do it.
Thank
you know? You have to be a God-fearing person. You have to be a person that people like. You have to be a person that has a little beard like you have, unfortunately now, you have to just be a
Being
person.
acceptable by the people. That's why
Acceptable.
a lot of times myself, I don't want to be a chazan. I
Because
refuse.
even if one person, we said this yesterday, even if one person doesn't want you to be the chazan, it
That's
can't be.
why I don't want to be chazan, because
Yeah.
sometimes they're chiyuv and they really do want to daven.
Right.
And I just go ahead of them. I don't like to be.
All right. So, all right, so we're going to move off that subject, and we're going to talk about, okay, we're going in the order of davening, so now we're holding by Yishtabach. Yishtabach is a very important and beautiful prayer, and Yishtabach is really the end of Psukkah de Zimra, and
Is that from the Tehillim, right?
Excuse me?
Is
It's
it
not
from-
from Tillim. No, it's not. And from that point on, you're really not allowed to talk. You shouldn't really talk at any time davening from that time. In fact, it says over here that if somebody speaks after Yishtabach, there's in the Torah in Parshas Keseitze, it says if somebody goes out to war, and if he's in his first year of marriage, he can come back because
He just got married.
he just got married and he has certain obligations to his wife. Another reason why to come back is if you are a sinner and you are scared to go into war because you've sinned and you're scared you're going to get killed in the war, so
They let you go.
they let you go. If you speak between
Davening.
Shtabach, you fall into that classifications,
That's
and
tough.
don't go out to war, don't defend your country because you yourself are not safe.
I also heard if you, let's say, you put a garden or something.
Right. If you plow that,
ready
So
for-
basically, it again, in that particular point, we again see how the Torah is very considerate and sensitive to a person's needs. That, if you just got
Even-
married,
Yeah.
you need to do the right thing and be home. And if you have a farm that you just started and you have to provide for your family, you better come back and finish that because your family needs to eat.
But something like emergency happen or something, regarding the davening. Let's say you want to, are you supposed to?
Yes, if it has to do with the davening itself, you can interrupt.
Yeah.
Also, in most cases, if a poor person comes and wants tzedakah, you're allowed to, of course, give him the tzedakah and maybe even discuss with him his personal needs. If there's a sick person, for all these cases,
Exception.
you're allowed to interrupt. Now, then we come to Kaddish. There's a lot to be said about Kaddish and to learn about Kaddish. Of course, you need 10 people. And they need to be, of course, males. They have to be over 13. They have to be not just over 13, they have to have the signs of maturity, the physical signs of maturity. And only in that case, good morning, only in that case can you say the Kaddish. The same applies to Baruch Hu. You can't say Baruch Hu unless you have 10 people. You can't say Kedusha. The Kadesh and Cholom and Agdish.
If one of those 10 people are deaf, cannot hear.
Okay, so as I said, I think I covered this before, that if you're deaf but you can speak, or if you can speak, or if you can't speak but you can hear, if you're one of those two, then you can count. But if you're deaf and dumb, then you can't count for the minyan. In most cases, if you had the minyan and then somebody walked out, you started saying Kaddish, and in the middle somebody walked out, you can still finish the Kaddish.
Continue.
And the same thing goes with Kedusha. And if there were 10 people that when you started Shemoneh Esrei and somebody walked out, you can still say the Kedusha, and you can still say the Kaddish
You talk
after the
about
Shemoneh
You
Esrei.
talk about Kedusha or the whole Shemoneh Esrei?
You can say the whole Shemoneh Esrei, and you can say Kedusha, and you can say the Kaddish after the Shemoneh Esrei. But you can't say the Kaddish after Ashrei V'Lutzion, because that part you can't say. Okay. I just want to welcome Tad. It was a pleasure.
The late Tad Stern.
The late Tad Stern.
Not Lori.
Ari texted me last night that he's not going to be able to make it. He has an appointment with his son, Ethan, this morning. Now, yesterday, now what happens if somebody is a sinner? Somebody we know that he's not a God-fearing Jew, and he sins. Are you allowed to count him for minion?
Maybe the last minute he made a teshuva. How you know?
Okay, so that's it.
Are you allowed to count him for Mincha? Is that the question?
We're allowed to count for what?
Did you say for Mincha?
No, for minion.
For Minyan.
For minion.
I even heard somebody commit suicide.
Yeah.
That lefi halacha you're not supposed to put in a
Bury
Jewish
him.
cemetery.
Right.
But since we don't know, maybe even when let's say he was hanging himself, he did the teshuva,
Right.
but he didn't
Right.
have no choice anymore.
Right.
I don't know if
So the 1 second before he actually, let's say somebody swallowed pills,
right,
And-
and he
and they
regretted it.
they regret it, but by that time it's too late.
Too late. You're not supposed to really put him in a Jewish cemetery.
No, so we can find reasons. We can find
Maybe the teshuva even
maybe
the
the
last second.
tshuva.
Yeah.
Somebody once jumped off the Empire State Building, and he was falling down. He passed the 50th floor, and somebody sees him falling and says, "How's it going?" So he goes, "So far, so good." Shalom Aleichem.
Where's Mendy Schwartz?
He's not available right now. He sent his younger, thinner brother over.
Only half a Mendy Schwartz?
Yes.
What do you do? We don't like
Class,
you
at the class.
What?
We don't like you skinny.
No? All right. Shalom Aleichem. I'm in the middle of a shiur, so
Okay.
I'll finish in a few minutes. Okay, so basically, even somebody who does averas, you're allowed to count him for minion, unless sometimes there's for certain averas you put him in cherem, you ostracize him. You know what that is, yeah? So in such a case, you can't count him for a minion.
Let's say come Shabbos to shul and start smoking in the shul.
Okay, so the Mishnah Berurah actually talks about that, and he says that even if you do an avera for which the punishment is death, like a very severe sin, the Mishnah Berurah says that you're allowed to count him for minion. Now, here's something very interesting. It depends why the person did the avera. People do avera for one of two reasons. Either because they're tempted to do an avera. It's very pleasing. Maybe they're eating something which is not kosher. Maybe they're doing some other avera. Maybe they're stealing because there's $1,000 in front of you, and the guy who put it down turned his back. So it's very tempting to steal it.
Yeah.
So that's one reason why people do an avera. Sometimes people do an avera because they rebel. I've had it with Yiddishkeit. I don't want to know from this. I'm dafke. He can go to Bubby's Bistro, or he can go to next door, and
The same food.
the same price, not as nice owners, but still, it's pretty much the same. And they go and they eat the treif because they just want to, I'll show you, God. I don't care. That type of a person is the worst person in the world. And that person, even if he did just one thing wrong, one time, if he did something like that, he cannot be counted for minion.
So let me ask you something. So
Yeah.
you say that shunning. Suppose somebody's being shunned, and they can't be counted for minion at the shul. Okay?
Right. And you can't call him up for the Torah.
For whatever they did.
Yes.
Because he goes to another shul where nobody knows him.
All right, so he's lucky. He got away with it.
This
You
kind
know,
of
the same
people-
reason somebody can go to another shul and say that he's a Kohen. You know, somebody once did that.
Really?
Yeah,
You don't usually
he always wanted to be. You know, he was jealous. Benny gets every time he gets Kohen, somebody wanted to be a Kohen.
No, thank you.
Not going to do it?
No, thank you.
So he went to a shul where nobody knew
Thank
him,
you, I appreciate it.
and he decided that he's going to represent himself as he's a Kohen. So when it came to laning, the Gabbai calls out, "Is anybody here a Kohen?" So he raises his hand and he says, "Yeah, I'm a Kohen." So they went over to him and says, "Well, can you do us a favor? Step out. We have somebody as your side. We can't give you an aliyah."
It wasn't his lucky day.
It wasn't his lucky day. Anyway, it doesn't pay to. We still have a few minutes. Okay, so also here's something interesting. Let's say somebody does every mitzvah in the Torah, does exactly all 613 mitzvahs, and he believes in that, but he doesn't really believe in what the Gemara says. Come on, enough is enough. Torah Shabbat Peh. Enough is enough. 613 mitzvahs is enough. I don't want to.
Isn't the Torah Shabbat is also included in 613?
Well, it's not included. It explains the 613. There's only 613 mitzvahs.
No, we have this 600. Let's say Hanukkah.
So there's 613 mitzvahs, and then there are 6 or 7, I don't remember, mitzvahs of the Rabbanan, which is considered almost like one of the top, in addition to the Tayyag mitzvahs. So I think there are 7 mitzvahs the Rabbanim. One of them is Hanukkah.
Right.
So
I even heard the candle lighting on Shabbos for ladies.
candle lighting of Shabbos is one. I think
this total going to be 630. No.
total there is 620.
Really?
And I think the proof for it is the word keser. Keser means crown, which is 620. So that's the 613 and the
Purim also. Maybe Purim was also included. Purim.
Megillah maybe also.
Megillah.
Yes, Megillah also. All right. And all these mitzvahs, even though they came later on, you can all find some kind of a proof of them from the Torah itself. And the Gemara discusses.
The Hanukkah, I heard, the Breshit. You heard that before, for Hanukkah?
Yeah, tell me.
Hanukkah, if you, from Breshit, you go, the 25th of Kislev.
Right, 20 is Or.
Or.
Yeah, the 25th word in the Torah is Or, which alludes to Hanukkah, which was on the 25th day of
And I think
Kislev.
the Tishrei Cheshvan Kislev, the third pasuk also.
The what?
The third month.
Yeah.
And this is the third pasuk in the Torah.
Oh, okay, so that's also very interesting. Okay.
So the third pasuk and the 25th is the...
Right. And you can find all kinds of things of this with all these additional 7 mitzvahs of Rabbanim. Okay, we'll continue tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Keser is